Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm going to keep you on mute if that's okay throughout the session so that we don't interrupt the flow of the presentation today, and then I will unmute towards the end. If you do have any questions, then please do put them in the chat and we'll try to take them towards the end of the session. So today's session now it's called CloudPack for Data on Z, and we have our presenter Tuba Kadir, who's going to walk us through this. The session number, if you want to make a note, is 6AR. So that'll be useful later on when you come to give feedback. Now, just to set a bit of context, every organization has recognized that it's got to become smarter and more responsive to operate with intelligence and respond to market changes. And AI is something that is fueled by data, and that's what organizations are looking for to transform and deliver value. And I don't know if you're aware, but a recent study found that organizations that are data-driven, so using metrics to guide their direction, are over 170% more likely to outperform others in the market. So it's quite a strong driver towards data analysis. So today we're privileged to have Tuba Kadir of IBM to educate us on the basics of the solution, CloudPack for Data. So with that, Tuba, I'll hand over to you. And please, in fact, let me go forward one slide. I just forgot about this. We are doing a charity raffle and raising money for some worthy causes. This is the RNLI, the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, and Guide Dogs for the Blind. And I will put this link up in the chat as well. So if you do want to donate, then please do click on the link at the end of the presentation and please do donate. Okay, so if you go to the next slide, then I will now hand over to Tuba, and please walk us through the agenda and then take us through the rest of the presentation.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Hi, everyone. So as Adil introduced me, my name is Tuba Kadir and I work with IBM. I'm fairly new, I'd say, in comparison to other people that have been presenting, but I'm going to share what I know and what I've learned so far in the past couple of years about CloudPack for Data, because that's my sort of, line of work. So in the agenda today, we've basically got, I'm going to go through data today, generally what data is, what we do with that data, our approach to AI, and then I'm going to go through what CloudPack for Data is and what the difference between CloudPack for Data is and what CloudPack for Data on Z is, because there's a slight difference in that. And then compatibility of platforms on CloudPack for Data, the architecture of it, and some of the benefits. I'm not going to delve too deep into all of this, but if you do have questions or want to ask me anything later on as well, you can feel free to email me or message me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to take those on after the presentation as well. So yeah, I'm going to get started. So generally, CloudPack for Data itself is a new kind of data and analytics platform with built-in governance. And we need something like this because data is transforming industries and professions. And it's the core of a lot of innovation and transformation happening. And this can be in any sort of industry, and we can start from banking industry to retail. And it's quite broad because you can expand to a lot of other things. And in finance, you can look into there's finance in insurance companies. Everyone is using forms of data and they have a lot of data, but how are they processing it? And CloudPack for Data sort of looks into all of that. The first thing I want to talk about is data itself. We currently have and collect tons of data. In 2020, there was enterprises were collecting about 797 terabytes of data, and there's a predicted increase of 580%, which is going to take that up to 5 petabytes of data, which is huge. And it's the thing about all of this data is 73% of this data goes unused. So it's being collected, but it's not actually being used. And that's a waste of resources and storage as well. So what can we do to streamline processes and use all of this data? Basically, one of the solutions to that comes down to using CloudPack for Data, which is an enterprise insight platform. I'm going to explain the details of a CloudPack for Data after I actually explain the process of AI and what we can do with AI, because it sort of leads on from that. So IBM's approach to AI starts from the bottom, which is we're going to collect data and you want to make it simple and accessible. With data generally, you can collect data in lots of different ways, but it doesn't necessarily always go into one place. And that's where the complexity sort of comes in to what happens to the data or how you can use it. And in addition to this, it's like you're collecting data, but there's ever-changing data sources. So with the way the world is working right now, there's always something new happening every day. And if you look at it a year later, you're going to see a drastic change in what you're actually doing with that data or how you're collecting that data. So it's really, really important to make this simple and accessible, so that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's all in one place, but it means that it's virtualized and it's easily accessible. Then the next thing is to sort of organize that data. So we want to create business ready analytics, and that's kind of the foundation of everything. And you want to organize and collect data into trusted business ready foundation, so that it's basically compliant with regulations when you're collecting data, and also so that it's protected, because you have different types of data, and certain data needs to be protected. So, oh, sorry, that was me. I went forward. It needs to be protected. The next thing is you've got all of this data now. It's organized, but you want to analyze it. So you want to build and scale with AI. So how can you sort of do that? And what IBM sort of suggests and what we suggest on that will be to have automated ways to analyze data, because not only that helps you gain new insights, but it helps you make smarter decisions and it streamlines the processes, because there's a lot of data to go through. You can't physically do it yourself. So you want to kind of scale the AI and do it on a larger scale and analyze it faster, because you get a lot of real-time data that will not be useful the next day or a week later. So it needs to be a fast process. Then the last thing that we have in our step is Infuse. So with Infuse, you want to operationalize AI throughout the business and across the business as well. So you can have multiple departments looking at the same data, but how they process it or how they use it will be very different. But then at the same time, if you're using the same data, you want to make it easily accessible to everybody. So infusing AI would mean that within various processes, you can sort of draw predictions and have everything automated and optimize sort of sharing everything as well across the business. So now looking at AI and what we have, it's what can we do with something like a CloudPack for Data, which is an enterprise insight platform. Basically, this simplifies and unifies how data is first collected, then it's organized, and then analyzed. And what this will do is it will accelerate the value of data science and AI. The CloudPack for Data is a hybrid cloud platform, and it delivers a broad range of core microservices. So it can basically add on more from a growing services catalog for any client or any customer that uses CloudPack for Data, because each customer is really different. They have different requirements, or they have different needs, and they have different types of data. So being able to add on to this, it makes it a lot easier for them and use data in different ways. The platform also helps experience greater flexibility, security, and control without having to move your data from the cloud or the cloud platform that you're already on. I'm going to go into more detail about this on a later slide of, where we can use CloudPack for Data and what it's compatible with. But first, I'm going to talk about using CloudPack for Data on Zed itself. So the difference between this and just having CloudPack for Data is introducing DB2. So you can combine it with the DB2 Management Console, you can combine it with DB2 Warehouse, and also IBM Watson. Specifically, that's IBM Watson Studio. Basically, using all of this, you can build and deploy machine learning and AI models, and also add on other features that are specifically just Zed related, which kind of help build on the existing Zed infrastructure. It basically will provide enterprises with Zed's resilient and secure private cloud platform. So that means that if you've got large distributed DB2 warehouse or advanced enterprise servers, it will use that and use the data that you have already in the places that it is in without having to move that data, because it takes up too much time and it costs too much to actually move data. So this is kind of using it where it is, how it is, and trying to get, a cost-effective method of analyzing all of that data. And in addition to this, you can code it with Python. So it basically makes it more modern and intelligent, despite the fact that it's using old software. And so what can you actually do with CloudPack for Data on Zed specifically? Once you have the CloudPack, you can basically build on it. You can have, by building, I mean, you can build applications. So they're going to be intelligent, interactive applications with AI. And they're going to basically have minimum latency and exceptional performance, because it will just streamline your processes. You'll be able to build on what you already have. You can modernize your infrastructure. Specifically, that's your data infrastructure, and develop and deploy Python machine learning AI models close to where your data originates from. So you're not actually moving, again, I'm repeating, you're not moving your data. And that's the core of what CloudPack for Data is. You don't have to move the data you already have. You're securely able to store and access your data, because obviously within hybrid cloud, you're going to be storing a lot more of your valuable data, and you want to have the security of that. So that's something that we have. It also reduces cost and complexity. So it makes it easier for simpler administration. It makes it a lot more it makes it faster, basically, because it's reducing cost and complexity. It just makes the processes you have faster. So what that would do in turn is lower the value and lower the value and operational cost of using data. So platform compatibility with CloudPack for Data, it can basically run on anything. So you can run anywhere, and that's the core of what CloudPack for Data is. It's, you can run it on the cloud. So whether that's AWS, IBM Cloud, Azure, Google Cloud, or like any cloud service that you have, you should be able to add compatibility for that. And also on-premise. So with that, what that means is if you've got on-premise data, a data storage facility, you should be able to keep that behind a firewall for extra security, and you'll be able to still run Cloud Platform for Data on that. And finally, you can also combine this with Red Hat OpenShift, which is a container platform, and it leverages the leading open source technologies. So it will basically allow developers and data scientists have tools which they can modernize their applications a lot more easily and faster. So you can analyze and collect data the way you were doing, and go through it faster. So next I'm going to talk about the actual architecture of the AI for using Cloud Platform for Data, because I was speaking about how you can layer it. Is basically using it, building upon what you already have. So whether you've got AWS, Azure, IBM Cloud or Google Cloud, or whether it's on premise, you're basically going to be able to layer that with Red Hat OpenShift, which is a hybrid cloud platform, and then use Cloud Platform for Data on top of that, which enables you to collect, organize, and analyze your data. In turn, the platform is designed, basically this architecture is designed to allow you to do two main things, which is reduce your tool spend, which is really key for businesses. And secondly, you want to unlock new value from existing infrastructure that you have, so you're not actually changing your current infrastructure. So that basically means you're going from something that's not managed data to fully managed data by adding Cloud Platform for Data on your platform. So once you, sorry, my screen slides aren't changing. Bear with me.
Is it a PowerPoint issue, do you think, or do you want to unshare and share again?
I'm going to unshare and share again. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, we can see you.
Okay, so can you see the AI slide? Sorry.
Information architecture for AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let me hurry. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So what basically you want to, what I want to talk about now is utilizing IBM Z to deploy IBM Cloud, and what are the main benefits you have out of this. So the first thing is the high performance, quality of service, and security and governance. The main things I've been over, the key things were that it reduces cost and complexity, and it leverages your existing infrastructure and skills that you have, so you don't actually have to change what your systems are. You can just layer it on top, which is key for this. But these three things are the other additional things that it brings to the table. So with high performance, you have basically dedicated IO subsystems which support high IO bandwidth workloads, ideal for serving applications. So that will basically help dealing with workloads faster. Second thing is high transactional processing. So I've found that it scales to about 1 trillion transactions per day, which is a lot. And if it can process that in one day, you're sort of streamlining your processes, you're making everything a lot faster. So that sort of increases the performance. And what you can also do is integrate data gravity and so data gravity is a different topic, and I don't want to go too much into detail about it. But generally, with the core transactional systems on Z, it will make it a lot more highly efficient for your infrastructure, for your data and AI. Basically, that means IBM Z would be an ideal platform to infuse AI with real-time transactional workloads. So it would work with real-time data. So it's making everything a lot faster. You're not wasting any data, and you're sort of processing as you go, which is really efficient. The next thing is we're looking at quality of service it provides. So what you want to look at is elastic and scalable containers. So on one system, you can have 2.4 million containers, and you can basically scale that up to that. So depending on what your business needs or what a client's business needs, we can scale up and continue to 2.4, which gives them it gives them, enough scalability to work on as much as they want. And then we also have, you can use it on Linux on Z to help power the IT lifecycle costs based on potential savings in centralized operation. So if you're lowering the lifecycle costs, it would help the business save a lot more. And that's also, you have high availability and resiliency. Resiliency is really important right now in businesses because you want to protect your data and you want to be resilient against any outages, and always be available. For example, in the banking sector, it's quite key that the apps never go down, or if they do, it's for a limited time only. So being resilient and having a good quality of service is key for this, and Cloudpak for Data basically provides that. High virtualization and dynamic processing redirection. So what this basically means is that you're able to use all of the capabilities of Z and virtualize the technology that you have for your data processing, basically. And then we have security and governance. And this goes without saying that, security and governance are really, really important. Healthcare companies, banks, and insurance companies all collect data, and it's all, it needs to be on a secure platform. It needs to be protected data. So we want to provide that security, that the data is safe. It's not, it's highly regulated, basically. And especially with what, the FCA looking into like how data is stored and how data is protected for banks, it's really key that these regulated industries are protected and made sure that their data isn't going to leak or have any outages. Then basically with this, to have security and governance, we're able to provide encryption support, part of the Linux operating system, which has one of the highest LPAR isolations. The second thing is built-in secure enclaves for zero trust and zero trust cloud native. So what this means is that the trusted infrastructure on top banks and insurance companies is protected using LPAR isolations, which is one of the requirements that you need for the highest level of security. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay, Tuba, thank you so much. I'm just going to allow you to unmute
Yeah.
so that they can ask questions if they want to unmute. But I did make some notes as you were going through your presentation. So 3 things that stuck out for me. So my background is in working with organizations on DevOps.
Yeah.
And one of the fundamental requirements is to have some kind of a feedback loop. So data analytics is really important.
Mhm.
So you mentioned the faster analytics capability and high volume as well. So that does give near real-time feedback, which is what businesses need. So I can really see how they can see value in that. You also talked about security and governance, and every organization is concerned about that, and they need to protect their brand and their reputation and their customers. So once again, you know, a great point you made. And the final one is about reducing cost and complexity. And moving forward, all organizations are looking at cost reductions and easier to maintain capabilities in the future as well. So I can really see where organizations can get value from this going forward. But yes, so I have allowed people to unmute. So if you do have any questions or comments, then please do come forward and let's have a conversation. So are there any questions for Tuba at the moment? Okay, while you're thinking, I'm just going to put the link for the feedback into the chat as well, so that'll make it easier for you to access this. So session is 6AR, and also I will put in there the link for the charity donation page as well, if you'd like to donate towards that. So I'll put them both in here.
Thank you, Atul.
Okay, they've both gone in there as well. So Tuba, would you be happy for people to contact you afterwards if they do want to follow up with any questions or queries?
Yeah, I'd be happy for anyone to contact me. My email address is available on GSE and also my LinkedIn. So I'd be happy for you to reach out if you have any questions.
Fantastic.
So thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope that was informative. It's basically all the stuff I've learned over the past 2 years. But yeah, thank you.
Well, Tuba, for the first presentation you've done at GSE, it was fantastic. So well done. You should be very proud. And we hope to hear more from you in the following years as well.
Hopefully, yeah, I'll be back.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you all so much. I'll close the meeting now, but as Tuba said, please do feel free to follow up afterwards if you need to have a further conversation. Okay. Thank you, everybody.